Welcome to SEO BirdLife Readvale's first podcast episode, dedicated to bird migration in the Ebro Delta. I'm Isha, and along with my co-host Alex, we'll explore the incredible journeys of migratory birds that pass through the Delta. We'll dive into the challenges they face along the way, their vital role in this unique wetland ecosystem, and the urgent conservation efforts needed to protect their future. Join us on this episode as we travel along with these remarkable animals and uncover the secrets of their incredible migrations.
Before we dive into the fascinating topic of migration, let's first take a moment to understand the significance of the Ebro Delta and why it is so important for migratory birds. The Ebro Delta is located in the northeastern corner of Spain and is one of the most important wetland areas in the Mediterranean, both for its biodiversity and its role in supporting migratory bird populations. What truly sets the Ebro Delta apart is its status as a nature park, a special protection area for birds under the EU Birds Directive, and as a Ramsar site, which is a designation given to wetlands of international importance. These protections are critical for preserving the Delta's rich biodiversity.
The Delta supports 360 bird species, including 120 that are protected under Annex 1 and Annex 2 of the Birds Directive. These species are protected due to their endangered, vulnerable, or rare status, as well as the conservation measures needed for migratory birds. Over 40,000 pairs of birds nest in the Delta in the summer, and 180,000 waterfowl use the Delta as wintering grounds each year, making it an essential habitat for migratory species. But it's not just the bird numbers that make the Ebro Delta stand out, it's the variety of habitats within the 320 square kilometres of the Delta. While much of the area is occupied by agricultural rice fields, it also contains coastal lagoons, marshes, dunes, and floodplain forests that create an intricate and varied landscape that support a wide range of species with different needs. These natural habitats are critical for birds in the Delta, and this rich environment plays a key role in maintaining the health and resilience of Europe's migratory bird populations.
Migration. It's a word we hear all the time, especially when talking about birds. But where does it actually come from?
It originates from the Latin word migratio, meaning to move from one place to another. And for thousands of years, people have watched birds do just that, disappear in the winter and reappear in the spring. But where did they go?
Well, historical thinkers had some wild ideas about bird migration. Anaxagoras thought birds went to the moon for winter, and Aristotle said they hibernated in lakes. Then in the 18th century, it was proposed that birds migrate to Africa. And then in 1822, a stork found in Germany with an African spear in its neck became living proof that birds journey across continents and migration was confirmed.
Have you ever wondered why birds migrate? These incredible journeys happen each year, primarily driven by seasonal changes. In summer, migration is all about breeding. Birds travel to regions with better nesting sites, fewer predators, and an abundance of food. Warmer climates bring a surge in insects and plant life, perfect for feeding hungry chicks. Longer daylight hours in northern areas also provide more time for mating and for foraging. In winter, survival takes priority. Cold weather reduces food availability, forcing birds to seek warmer regions with plentiful resources. Many species, especially those dependent on open water or soft ground, can't endure freezing conditions. By migrating, they can conserve energy and avoid harsh winters. Many migratory species follow ancient migration routes that are shaped by geography, weather, and evolution. They navigate using the Earth's magnetic field and celestial cues, returning to familiar habitats that offer food and shelter.
Spring signals the start of the summer migration, as birds begin arriving at the Ebro Delta between March and May. Some settle into court and nest within the Delta's diverse habitats, while others use it as a vital stopover on their way to breeding grounds further north. This period is defined by renewal, as many species take advantage of the Delta's rich wetlands to raise the next generation. Bird species that migrate to the Delta to breed and are particularly interesting are the little terns and the Anduin's gull. The little tern is a tern of small size but great spirit, as it undertakes epic annual migrations of 10,000 kilometres between the British Isles, North Africa and the Ebro Delta. A small breeding population of little terns can be found in the delta from April to August and can be seen performing aerial displays and fish offerings during courtship. They form monogamous pairs and breed together in large colonies in sandy dune habitats. The Ebro Delta is home to a very special visitor over the summer migratory period, the Anduin's gull. The Ebro Delta hosts the world's largest colony of Anduin's gulls, accounting for 70% of the global population. This significant breeding site is home to around 10,000 breeding pairs annually, making it a critical habitat for the species conservation. Anduin's gull courtship is anything but subtle, with partners head-tossing and ewe-calling together. Anduin's gull come to breed on the rocky cliffs and offshore islands in the delta from April to July and leave the delta behind in August. They often feed at night, taking advantage of artificial lights from fishing vessels to locate prey, which consists of small fish such as anchovies.
In the spring and summer, the Ebro Delta becomes a bustling breeding ground, attracting species in search of safe nesting sites and abundant food. But as autumn approaches, it transforms into a crucial sanctuary, offering shelter and sustenance to millions of birds fleeing the freezing landscape of Northern Europe. For these species, migration isn't just a journey, it's a fight for survival. One of the most striking winter visitors to the delta is the marsh harrier. With broad wings and an effortless gliding flight, this raptor migrates south to take advantage of abundant prey and glides low over the reed beds, hunting small mammals and other birds. While its populations are stable, the delta remains a crucial wintering ground, where marsh harriers can hunt and build their strength before migrating back to their breeding territories across Europe. Then there's the northern lapwing, instantly recognisable by its iridescent green and purple plumage, distinctive looping flight, and its vibrant call. Unlike the harrier, the lapwing is in trouble. Habitat loss has pushed it into vulnerable status in Europe. These birds migrate south to escape frozen ground, which makes foraging impossible. Another key winter visitor is the common pochard, a diving duck that migrates to the delta's wetlands when northern lakes freeze over. Despite its name, this species is far from abundant. Its numbers are declining, and it is now listed as vulnerable in Spain. Here in the delta, it joins other waterfowl in shallow lagoons, diving for aquatic plants and invertebrates. Its presence highlights the importance of protecting these vital wintering grounds in the Ebro Delta.
Migration is a finely tuned survival strategy, shaped by thousands of years of evolution, but today the conditions that sustain it are rapidly changing. Climate change is shifting migration patterns. Warmer temperatures delay autumn departures and hasten spring returns, while some species abandon traditional wintering grounds altogether. Meanwhile, habitat loss from agriculture, urban expansion, and industrialization is shrinking the wetlands, forests, and coastlines birds depend on. These challenges don't just shrink habitats, they disrupt migration itself. Artificial lights can disorient birds, leading them off course or causing fatal collisions, while habitat destruction forces species to find alternative, often less suitable stopover sites, putting their survival at risk. As these pressures intensify, birds that once thrived in the delta may be forced to seek new, often uncertain refuges, if they exist at all. Even protected areas like the Ebro Delta face threats from water management changes, pollution, and human disturbance, all of which affect food availability and habitat quality.
Both little terns and purple herons in the delta face population declines. Little terns due to habitat loss from coastal erosion, and purple herons due to climate change, water pollution, and habitat degradation. Anduin's gulls are also vulnerable and declining according to the IUCN, which is particularly concerning as the delta hosts the majority of the global population. If we want future generations to witness the spectacular migrations of these birds, and birds like the marsh harrier, lapwing and common pochard, we must ensure that the places they rely on, like the Ebro Delta, are safeguarded against the growing threats of a rapidly changing world. Conservation efforts such as Natura 2000 Network and our work here at SEO BirdLife Rietvel play a crucial role in protecting migration corridors and key habitats. Research, habitat restoration and policy changes can also help mitigate these pressures, but action is needed now. So next time you see a flock of birds overhead, remember, migration is more than just movement. It's a delicate balance, and it's one that we all have a role in protecting. That's all for today's episode. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe and share. See you next time, and until then, keep your eye on the sky.